Marhaba, my name is Megan and welcome to Wanderlust Voyages. I wanted to do this one as a live because it is so very temporary. So back to my original intro. Marhaba, my name is Megan. Welcome to Wanderlust Voyages. Okay. In the other room. Sorry, some people are making some noise here. So we do talk about everything Morocco. We are here to share information about the cities, the culture, the cuisine, and today specifically I want to address travel to Morocco right now. It is April 4th, 2021, and therefore we are still in the midst of the pandemic. Now, a lot of places are starting to open up with all the vaccines going on, and it is very important that people know what the rules are, where is safe, where is not. So that's what I want to address today. Morocco, since the beginning of the pandemic, they have had very low numbers of critical cases and pretty low numbers overall. I was there during their highest spike and it still felt so much safer than here in the US. And as of right now, so I was just checking their current numbers, they have just 4,426 active cases in the entire country. And this is not a case where they are not testing and so their numbers are low. No. Yesterday they administered 7,404 tests. They are testing people. They are trying to make sure that everyone is safe. And within these 4,426 active cases, only 31 are new cases. So we had over 7,000 tests, only 31 tested positive. That is incredible. Their critical cases are even lower. Out of the 4,000, only 306 of them are deemed critical. So, and that's both people who need to be ventilated and not anyone who needs more intense medical care is counted in that critical. So Morocco is doing very, very well. And also where you are in the country is going to matter also. Casablanca is still the region with the highest number of cases, unfortunately. Whereas other places, even right up the coast a little bit in the Rabat region, we're only at 29 cases. So it's very, very low. And places like Meknes, they don't have any new cases. They have a few active, but none of them new. Down in the Sahara, same thing. So if you choose to go to Morocco, you absolutely can. Wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, all of that, just like you would here. Just because it's safer doesn't mean you get to throw all your precautions out the window. But you can absolutely travel to there. So who can travel to Morocco? First of all, you need to not be subject to a visa requirement. That means if you are an American passport holder, Canadian, most European passport holders, Israel, China, Japan, a whole bunch of people do not need a visa to go to Morocco. So you are eligible to do that. You also, if you are age 12 or above, you need to have a negative PCR test administered within 72 hours prior to travel. Make sure you have a printout. You're going to be asked for it at the airport. When you get to Morocco, you do have an additional form to fill out. You can fill it out before you go. Some airlines tell you it has to be filled out before you go. Other ones don't tell you about it. So it is online. You can fill it out, print it out, and it's just a health screening. And it's asking, do you have any known exposure? Have you had a fever? All of that information. So they check that, and when you arrive, you have to have a printout of your hotel reservation. Hotel, riad, some acknowledged accommodation in Morocco. It can't be, oh, I'm staying with, this person. Unless you are a Moroccan citizen or a Moroccan resident, it has to be with a local hotel or riad. And again, have that printed out. They will ask for it at passport control. They do not want to see it on your phone. So print it out, have your documents in order. You will also have to fill out some information when you arrive in the airport. In Casablanca, which is where most people arrive, when you come down the escalator from passport control, if you go immediately to your right, there's this kind of roped off area kind of under the stairs, and you're going to want to fill out that information. You'll get it stamped, and this is going to serve as your authorization to move between cities out of Casablanca. So that's another question we get a lot is movement restricted in Morocco? Not for travelers. There is some restrictions in place for locals, but not for travelers who have that negative test. They have that authorization. And certainly for our travelers, they're with a transportation driver. The vehicle is marked for tourism. They're not really going to be asked for any proof. If you are traveling with a local, like when Bilgit and I travel together, you probably will. But that's why you have a driver. No big deal. Let's see, what else is important? On the ground, in terms of restrictions. As of right now, there is still a restriction where you have to be, there's a curfew, sorry, lost my train of thought there. There is a curfew. All the shops, all the restaurants have to close at 8 p.m. and you need to be inside your hotel property by 9 p.m. Now, this restaurant's closing, that does include the restaurant in your hotel. So you got to eat a little bit early, make sure, or, get takeout, whatever, keep it for later, but be prepared for that. However, we do expect this to change very soon. Word is that it is going to change to a 12 o'clock midnight curfew once Ramadan hits, but that's not officially announced yet by the government. So that's what you can expect on the ground. Also, be prepared for temperature checks. I mean, we go into Marjan, which is their version of like a supermarket or a Walmart or something like that, and they check your temperature before you go in. A lot of places, I ran into Starbucks. I had to get a little temperature check before I go in. Yes, I know the temperature is not foolproof, but it is just an extra little measure that they take to try to make sure people are safe. Also, don't worry, it's very simple. It's a little thing where they do it on your wrist, so you don't have anyone near your face. I know that can be very awkward. When you're in Morocco, please, please, please wear a mask. I know that you're going to see a lot of people without a mask. However, just because they are still not taking it as seriously as they should, you need to take it seriously. Because that is how we make sure that they don't close borders again. We do not want them to close borders to the US. They currently have borders closed to Australia, Brazil, the UK, Ireland, and that has been since January, and that is until further notice. There are a handful of other countries where they are closely monitoring the situation, but currently borders are closed to Spain, France, Sweden, Switzerland, a whole bunch of European countries. So that is being reevaluated every 2 weeks. So it is kind of iffy if you are planning to route through Europe. Right now, if you are in the US and you want to go to Morocco, we highly, highly encourage you to take the flight from JFK to Casablanca. there is very low chance of them closing borders to the US. So you're not going to deal with a last minute, oh, hey, your flight's canceled, if you are going through Paris or something. So I keep saying they're not likely to shut borders to the US. Why is that? Well, it comes down to the vaccinations. The US is doing a great job with vaccinations. Everybody, it seems like, has at least some idea of when they're going to get vaccinated. Tons of people already have been vaccinated. And so it's seen as a lot safer, a much lower risk. Whereas, talking to friends in various European countries or Canada, and they are looking at late summer, including, one friend who is pregnant, and again, she's not going to be eligible until the summer, let alone being able to get a vaccine. And, here it's like, oh, pregnant women were ages back. So that's why we feel confident in saying that they are not likely to close borders to the US. But speaking of vaccines, how's their program going? Well, it's hit a little bit of a snag because Morocco was waiting on a shipment of vaccines from, I think, India was this one, and something happened. It didn't arrive when it was supposed to. They still have not arrived. So they kind of stalled out at about 4 million of the first doses. However, they made sure that they had enough doses. They didn't just keep going. They made sure they had enough second doses for all those people who got their first. So now we're at nearly 4 million people who have been fully vaccinated in Morocco. So that's excellent. They're not going to have to go back and redo the people who it went too long between doses. So they are doing an excellent job. Let me think. Is there anything else I have forgotten? Hotels and riads are all doing excellent with their safety measures. They all had to undergo inspection before they were allowed to reopen. So they all had to demonstrate, that they know how to provide adequate protection and cleaning protocols and things like that. Everyone is masked who works in the hotels and everything. Another interesting restriction. As of right now, there are no live entertainments allowed. Dancers, singers, musicians, bars, any of that, because that encourages people to gather, usually indoors, usually unmasked, because they're drinking tea or alcohol or whatever, and they want to discourage that, which again is very responsible. Not as much fun for travelers, but you know what, that's okay. We can do without it for a little bit. So I really hope that helped with explaining the situation. If you are thinking of traveling to Morocco right now, yes, you absolutely can. As long as you do it safely. Make sure that once you get that test 72 hours before travel, that you are being very cautious and you are quarantining after that. You don't want to have the test and then pick it up, because you're out running around right before. No, don't do that. Stay home, wash your hands, use your hand sanitizer, wear your masks, and behave yourselves. When you are there, same thing, wear your masks. I just thought of something else with regard to travel to Morocco right now. Salma, do you remember what it is? Nope, she doesn't even want to make an appearance this time. I'm sorry. She wants the ability to edit her appearance and approve of it before it goes live. There's something else about traveling to Morocco at the moment. By all means, if you're able to do it safely, do so. Oh, the whole thing about needing a COVID test prior to coming back to the US. So the CDC just announced a day ago, 2 days ago, that if you have been fully vaccinated, if it has been at least 2 weeks since your second dose, that you do not need a negative PCR test before coming back to the US. So if that is the case, make sure you have your proof with you. Morocco has not lifted that requirement yet, largely because they want to get their people vaccinated in larger numbers before they take any chances like that. So they're still going to require the negative PCR test, but for going back, makes it one less thing you have to do. If, however, you have not been able to get vaccinated before you go, then it is very easy to get the test in any major city. The turnaround is usually under 24 hours. I mean, some say under 18 hours. When we went, we had pretty early appointment, in and out in like 5 minutes, and we got the results that night. And it's the poke the brain one, so it's not self-administered, but not bad at all. And it costs either 600 or 700 dirhams, which is about $65 to $70. About $70 to $80 USD. So just be prepared for that if you are not vaccinated. Okay, now I think I'm done. So thank you so much. I hope that soon I will be able to redo another video of just general across the board entry requirements to Morocco, because we'll be done with all of this, but that's how things look now, and I hope you will join us next time, and I hope I'll see you in Morocco soon. Have a great day.